Hello there, I'm Michelle, and today we are going to make a blue velvet cake in honor of the upcoming Super Bowl, Super Bowl 49, and I'm a Pats fan, so we're going blue. Debating coloring the frosting red just to make it a little bit more obvious because Seattle uses blue too, so that's a little bit annoying. But I'll show you today how to make the blue velvet cake. This recipe calls for cake flour. So cake flour is plain old all-purpose flour with cornstarch. So for every 1 cup of flour, you take out 2 tablespoons of the flour and then add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. So I already have my 2.5 cups of cake flour ready. And so normally it asks you to sift the flour and dry ingredients together in a separate bowl, but I don't want to waste another container, so I'll just do it all in here. I'm trying to get better at measuring out my vanilla because normally I just wing it and then I find myself running out of vanilla really quickly because I love it so much. So because this is blue velvet, now we're going to add in our blue dyes before we add in the dry ingredients. So the Patriots are a pretty dark blue for coloring, so the royal blue may not be dark enough. So I have a little bit of black and a little bit of violet to add, but I'm kind of winging it at first, and I'll see how I feel about the color. So food coloring paste is the way to go. To get bright, vibrant colors, the paste is super concentrated. When you're using the liquids, you have to add a lot more, and then it often can change the consistency of what you're making because you end up adding like a teaspoon of stuff. Where this, you'll see just kind of as a little dot to bring a lot of color in. Where this is right now, and I'm going to add the flour mixture because it does have cocoa, so that will help get it a little bit darker too, and then it of course will bake up darker. Smack all the bubbles out so we get a nice level cake. Now we'll spend a little bit over a half an hour in the oven, and then we'll see how the color turns out. Two moldy looking cakes that are quite blue on the inside. So now I'm gonna frost the cake. The best thing about fondant is because it doesn't need to look pretty because it's gonna get covered with that even sheet, we can go sloppy with it. So because I want this to be a reveal cake, so that when you cut it open, you know that the Patriots are going to win a Super Bowl, just like at those baby showers where you cut it open, it's pink, it's a girl. That's what we're going for here. So you cut the cake open, and then people at the party will know who the winner's going to be. So the cake's blue, and this middle frosting here will be red. And so also, because the fondant's gonna cover it up nicely, I'm gonna kind of cut a piece open once I've added the red in the middle, just so you can see what the blue looks like with the red, and then I'll smooth it out with the frosting, and then the fondant will cover it all, so can't even tell. Come on top of it to make sure you've centered the cakes to each other. And I'll just cut it a little bit so you can see the blue and then it's not mold green. So there we go. So I'm just gonna slide this back in, and then we'll frost right over it, and then the fondant will cover that. So I like to come super sloppy on top and then pull it down for the sides. When you go too thick with the frosting when you're using fondant, a lot of it just seeps out the sides anyways. And so some of our red's coming out, and that's totally fine. Again, the beauty of fondant. And that should be great. The fondant will cover it beautifully.